angle down, while kind of pushing the knife against the bottom of the door. And again, once we get to the right underneath the corner, we're going to cut out at a 45-degree angle to give ourselves that pull tail. Finish that off. Okay. This is the exact opposite of what we did on the other side. So here we want to cut against the fender. We can get a new blade. This time I'm not angling my blade at all. If anything, I'm angling it a little bit towards myself because I want less film. I can already tell this door isn't quite aligned properly. So it's not giving us the cleanest gap here, which is alright. It happens from time to time. Be very careful cutting against the other side, because if the knife hits it at all, you'll see a little piece of white showing. That's obviously not what you want. Cut our little tail, pull tail. Same thing up here. Be careful just pulling this off. Sometimes the vinyl can really stick hard to itself, and it'll actually pull it up a little bit. So be mindful of that. Same thing here. I'm going to use some heat in my glove to smooth this out a little bit, because you can see it's not stuck down right here, and I want to have a nice clean edge to cut on. So this is kind of like a corner, so we're going to work away from it. Same thing with this guy down here. Good. If you feel more comfortable starting from the top and going down, like cutting it like this, do that. I feel more comfortable starting from the bottom, so that's why I did that. So it's a comfort thing. No right or wrong answers. Do it the way that you think is going to give you the best cut. Really, all that it's about. the top, cut at an angle, give us our little tail, and at the bottom, cut at an angle, give us our little tail. It's out of here. Chin up the door handle. Make sure we're tucked in here. It's kind of like the opposite of a corner. We almost want to work towards these curved areas. Picture over here, actually. Recommend a fresh blade on this one. All right, so with our inlay, we know that we can basically just cut along the bottom edge of the door, or bottom edge of the handle here, for the entire thing. I do like to contour up slightly onto the handle, up here and around here and up here, just because while you can't really see the bottom edge of the door up here, sometimes you can, so I like to at least give a little bit of material just in case. So yeah, let's go ahead and bang this out. So we're just gonna kind of get the tip of our blade in here to get this started. Just the tip. And then once we've got it in there, we're just gonna be very gentle. You wanna make sure not to cut your tape, because it'll get behind the wrap, and that is a nightmare. Be very precise, very slow. And right when we get to this part, we're going to actually transition to the door handle, which is okay because we have tape on it. And then we're going to go about 1/8 of an inch on the inside of the door handle to give us just a little bit of overhang. Not overhang, but a little bit of extra film to tuck in. Change our body. Definitely not a race, guys, so take your time on these types of things. Now if we did this right, it should just come right off. So here's where you'd be able to see, if you did your inlay too long and it was coming on the door, you'd kind of see it right here. So it's important to keep that as clean as possible just so that it looks good here. So you can kind of push the door handle in a little bit to pop the film off of it, and then use that to your advantage to kind of tuck it back here. Because we are going to need to open the door handle. And you can kind of just use this to get it back there, and eventually you'll get past it to the point where you can open the door. So that to happen. Okay, once you get to this point, and again, you're going to want to make sure you do all your other cutting first, because as soon as you pop this handle, the door is going to open. The window is going to go down, all that bullshit. So make sure that we're, heat this down, because we did stretch it a little bit. Get a nice heat, and we're going to kind of just get right in here. The deepest part, other deepest part. A lot of times this will lift a little bit, and you'll have to go through. I usually wait till the end. I'll do it like on the last day. Go through and just blast these areas with heat, and you're gonna have to trim just a little bit inside there just to clean it up. Not a big deal whatsoever. Get your the film down over your inlay. Make sure that's done nice and clean. Just came out super nice. You're going to want to use a little bit of heat for these areas up here. Same sort of thing. You may have to go back and do some cutting. Just get all this tucked in. Nice and clean. Sometimes you can get your fingernail back there, and if you can, that's nice. Kind of get around that back edge. Okay. Okay. Take the tape off. All right. Come back over here, because before we open the door all the way, we want to at least get this kind of started. So how we want to do this is as so, basically. So the hardest areas are going to be the body lines. That's where you're going to get the film wanting to fold up. So hit it with some heat. On both sides, and then we're just going to want to hit it with the squeegee and not gouge the vinyl like I just did a little bit. So hit it with your squeegee. It's not that bad. And just straight down and almost in. You can even use the other side if you want. I like to use the soft side. And this will get it 90% of the way there. And then when you open the door, you're going to be able to reach around here and actually seal it. same kind of thing as these corners that we just did. So we're gonna wanna get it around. We wanna kind of take the tension and move it out here so that it wraps the back edge of this. Perfect. We gotta round that a little bit when we open the door. Same sort of thing here. I kind of want to warm this up. And just kind of shape it straight down and around. And if you do that right, you won't have any wrinkles. It'll just kind of naturally roll around nice and clean. So this is what it looks like from the back side. Kind of roll down, roll the film around, roll up, and eventually it just goes in nice and clean. This one's a little funkier. So what I do on this one is I try to grab it from the bottom with my opposite hand to brace it, flatten it, and then we'll straighten it down and around. Not as bad this time because we didn't have as much film. And in the corner, same sort of thing we've been doing on these other corners. Let that kind of shape around, work away, work away, work away. Show you how to do this. Get the glove. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat, and then I'm gonna feed this material into here to kind of create tension on the back edge of this corner. So get it here. And grab it, and I'm just gonna push into this gap. Grab it, and just push into this gap. Okay. Now we can kind of do like a relief cut. And we're just gonna cut right at the top of this corner and cut this out. And to be honest, we can cut straight across right here, because the way that this works is we have enough room where we can heat this and smash it right around. That looks like this. Perfect. Okay. All right, let's finish. Same sort of thing on this one, where we want to pull this way and heat it, because we have like an area for the film to go right here. So we want to create tension around the back of this corner artificially almost. So pulling it, heating it, and using our finger to get the film to do what we want it to do. Some bad paint or something right there. Okay. Now what we're going to do is cut on this back edge, and I'm going to leave a little bit of film to roll over, maybe about 1/4 inch, and I'm just going to roll that right to the back, and that should be just fine. Take our finger, and we're basically going to lift this off, tab, and then just feed this in. Lift it off, feed it in. And I'm creating a 45-degree angle with my finger. And that's the angle that I'm going in. I'm not pushing it in like this, I'm pushing it in at an angle. Same thing from back here. Got an angle, and just let it go in. Now you can decide what you want to do from here. I will just get this in and get it up about halfway. There's a little hole where the mirror sits right here, so I cut just underneath that. Gives you full coverage. We're gonna make a cut on the car. I don't love to cut on the car, but ultimately you just have to use very light pressure and a fresh blade, and try to exercise discretion, you know? Don't cut somewhere where you're obviously not going to cut right in the center of a hood or something like that. This is hidden by a gasket. So worst case scenario, let's say that I do hit the paint, it's going to be covered by a gasket. So it's essentially going to be a non-issue. I'm not too concerned about hitting the paint, to be honest. I've done this a lot. You just need to like barely lay the blade on it. And just concentrate to make sure that you're staying on the same line. After you've scored the film, You do not want to just take this and rip it off, because sometimes it can pull up the whole thing. So go smooth and kind of pull away. You can see it's kind of a little bit difficult. You want to pull away, and that's it. Come in here and clean this up. Sometimes this little edge is visible under the mirror, so you want to make sure you get full coverage here. Seal that down. Okay. So that's the door. Up next, rear door.